Welcome to the world we live in. Back and forth through the kitchen. Remembering the nights we spent down. All right, viewers around the world, particularly in the Chicago area, Stomps and I would like to welcome you to Season 3, Episode 7 of one of the greatest shows and entertainment options in the world of entertainment, The Neutral Zone. I'm so proud to be alongside with my esteemed guest, Stomps. Say hi to the viewers, Stomps.
Hi to the viewers, Stomps. Hello, everyone. Greetings on a Thursday evening. I just got off an airplane and I rushed home to join Nav in providing quality entertainment to our community.
We would have it no other way. No other way. So, Stomps, thank you for doing that. That's a bigger deal than Art showing up to the game right after he returned from Disney. Okay, so we got a lot to cover, but we're going to try to do this in 20 minutes or so. A couple of important housekeeping and global news items that I'd like to share with everyone. As all of you know, Elon Musk has officially taken over Twitter, and he is cleaning house with all the executives. I would like to say that he has addressed with an email his entire Twitter staff just yesterday. And the contents of his email, I don't have the official email because it hasn't leaked the Twitter organization, but the context of the email and the nature of the email was that he has officially ended remote work for all Twitter employees. So he's coming in there with very strong, very strong. Stomps, what do you think of these tactics?
I honestly don't have an opinion. It's his company. He can do what he wants, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
Fair enough. Okay, just a couple of international news items that I wanted to share with everyone. I think as a country, we want to stay informed and educated about what's going on outside of this great nation of ours. But just a couple of things I wanted to share. Russian President Putin will not be attending the G20 summit. Sadly, there was 3 dead from carbon monoxide poisoning at an Airbnb. Women have been banned from Afghanistan's gyms, according to the Taliban. And finally, something that everyone should be aware of, there will be more polar bear and human interactions coming up. So this is something that we should all be aware of. Okay.
What is wrong with you? Can I ask that question?
Stomps.
What is this? You had to torpedo me with this carbon monoxide thing that I didn't hear about. That I'm sure our viewers are really just jumping up and down.
So just make sure that you Google that news to validate what I'm sharing with you all. Stomps, you are going through a transformative stage in your life right now where Mondays.
Don't say that. Not these days. Please don't say that.
Mondays has you on a new team. So right. I just wanted to ask you to share with the millions and millions of viewers who are tuned into Season 3, Episode 7 of The Neutral Zone. I want you to tell them about your new team on Mondays and then what happened on this past Monday at Palatine, and then maybe get into a little bit about Woodridge and Carroll Stream. Then I'll talk about Wednesdays and then we'll close.
So, yeah, several of us from Team Blue were assigned to different teams, if you will. So joining Team Green is Steve Givens, Patty and Joey Gleason, Dave Schmiel in goal, and myself. Now, I think you and everybody else knows how I feel about Team Green. We've talked about them often. I have a ton of respect for them, and I just like them as people. So if I had to land with anybody, I was, and I would have played with anybody. I've said it before. It really wasn't going to matter to me. So I was kind of surprised that I went to Green, but I was happy about it, certainly. So week one, first game was Gentlemen's Club against Team Red. And Gentlemen's Club, it was a close game for a while, and then they pulled away. I want to say the final was 6-2 Gentlemen's Club. Team Red did not have Ron Coletta Jr. in the lineup, or I forget the guy's name, but we refer to him as Jesus.
Okay.
I can't think of his name, and I apologize. But anyway, they were missing those guys, so those are key players, obviously, but GC prevailed. Second game was Team White against Team Black. I reffed that game. The notable addition to Team White is Jacob Barrera. So he joins his Kenny and Adesh. He was playing on a line with Adesh, and they played pretty well, but a little bit of a surprising. I think it was a bit of a surprise in that Black won 5-0. So Rocco with the shutout. And, he made a lot of great saves. And it was a good game, but I was just a little bit surprised, I guess, that White was held off the score sheet. And then, so then we had Green against Yellow. And we took it 5-1. I thought we played a really good game. When you join a team that's a winner like that and all the credentials, you want to just make sure you contribute and in a positive way, and just stay out of their way maybe a little bit, some of the top players. But yeah, Dave Schmiel did great. Only gave up one goal, and that one goal was scored into our own net by our own players. So, obviously an accidental situation, but yeah, and the new additions, Patty had 2 goals, I had a goal. So not too bad. That's just one game, but so far so good, right?
That's amazing. Good on you guys. Congratulations to you guys joining a team like that. I would just only add that, Stomps, this is not the first time you've played on a powerhouse team. You're an ex-Raider as well. Don't forget that.
And ex-Dynamo.
Yeah, well.
Right.
All right. You've kind of played with a lot of different teams now that I think about it. Southsiders,
Dante's Inferno, Toros,
Raiders, Dynamo. Oh, wow.
Back in the day, the Lugags. Yeah, a lot of different teams through the years. Absolutely. I'm sure I'm missing some that I'm not thinking of.
Now, before we get into the other leagues, I did want to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
What is your appetite to participate on the Wednesday league, in the Wednesday league?
Why do you keep putting me on the spot with that? You know how I feel about going out there twice a week and all of that. So,
do you think if you had an electric car, you'd have a different opinion?
Stop it.
Okay. Tell us what's going on with Carroll Stream, and then close that out with Woodridge.
Yeah, Carroll Stream, I talked about it on the previous, we had a 3-team session. The Bearcats, who I'm playing with, and then 2 other teams. And it was not competitive. One of the teams, I think, forfeited the last couple of games. And then this week was the championship game. I was kind of bummed that I was going to be out of town for it because, I just, regardless of the competition, it would have been good to be there. But when I hear what happened, and this is assuming the story is correct, the other team only showed up with 3 guys. So instead of Bearcats playing a shorthanded team, they just made up sides. They just pooled and split up the teams and just had kind of a practice game, I guess.
Right. But the Bearcats won the championship, right?
Yeah, we prevailed.
Right.
So Bobby D has some hardware on his mantle.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Roger shared with me that he played on the other opposing team for this pickup game. Let me ask you this. Is this the Bearcats' first championship?
I don't think that's the case. Bearcats back in the day were a formidable team. I mean, I don't remember everybody's championships. I'm not Dave Schmiel.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say no.
Well, speaking of Bobby D wasn't there yesterday on the Wednesday League game. So he was with you guys on Tuesday though, right?
I think he was there too. I wasn't there, again. So
yeah. Okay. Congratulations to the Bearcats.
Yeah, absolutely.
On a well-deserved, dominant Carroll Stream team that they put together. It almost seems a little unfair to the opposition because the blowouts were just coming like tomorrow. You know what I mean?
You could only play who they give you on the schedule. I mean, we don't have a choice in that. So,
right.
We played and the results were what they were, right? So
yeah. What would you like to share with the viewers about Woodridge and it's creeping up to the close of the season, I think.
Well, we're going to Sunday will certainly be interesting because it's going to be frosty. So we'll have to see what the floor is like and everything else. But as the cold weather is ushered in. So I don't know. I mean, lately we've been having one game a week, just based on interest and people signing up. And the games have been by and large very competitive, except, last week was a bit one-sided. But that happens sometimes. This week we have the surprise of Eileen signing up on for the game. So obviously she must be in town for something. So that's great. Got a little bit of a waiting list sitting there, but again, we'll just gonna have to see with the weather. Like you said, going to be interesting to see what happens. And then as Woodridge might be closing for the season, you have Schiller Park opening up. They did not play this past weekend because I think they didn't have goalies to be able to play, but they played a pickup game at the Schiller Park district indoor with Orange Puck.
And will you be participating in that?
I'm certainly thinking about it once you can't do Woodridge. A little bit of a further drive for me, but Schiller Park, I back in the early 90s, I played in leagues in that facility. So that'll be a blast from the past if I do go out there. But
is it a 3-on-3?
I do not know. I don't know the details. Bobby D asked me to be added to, I guess they have a group text, but I haven't seen any texts yet.
I haven't seen any texts either. Bobby D asked for me as well.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that they're going to keep stats like Eric.
Not only that, they charge you $10 because, there's a charge to use that facility, obviously.
Sure.
That's been the beauty of Woodridge is, free hockey for the most part. So.
And good quality hockey.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, good. Thank you very much. If there's no more updates on Woodridge, I'd like to get into the Wednesday night league.
Yeah, you mentioned something happened this week, so I'll be anxious to hear this story that you were wanting to share.
Well, let me just say this. So the two matchups last night, the first one was a real competitive match between Death and the A team. So Death, as you know, is led by the co-GMs uh, William Jacques and Frank Klein, and then the A team is led by David Wagner and Stevie J. And obviously, you can't talk about the A team without mentioning Eddie Urban, who's on the A team. Um, the interesting thing about that game actually is William Jacques couldn't attend the game due to a prior commitment. So the goalie was Brian Howes. So that was a very welcome and pleasant surprise. So just wanted to say it was really nice to see you, Brian, out there. If you're listening, thank you for your support. Death prevailed, and it was a scoreless affair for quite some time, and then Death ended up just scoring a bunch of goals. I do want to say that Eddie Urban scored one real nice goal. Um, but I will just say about Death, the notable thing about Death, outside of the fact that William Jacques wasn't there, was that Tom Scully, who won the heavyweight belt for that game, that's a tradition that they're doing now. So what they do is they award their MVP a heavyweight belt, and Tom Scully got it with 2 goals. So I thought that was really nice. That he's becoming a very dangerous player, Tom Scully. He's becoming a very effective player out there. It's good to see. Frank scored a funny goal actually on David Wagner, and I don't know if David Wagner saw the replay on that, but Frank was, I think, coming on his strong wing, and he directed a shot towards the net, and it kind of took a funny bounce, and I think it might have went over David Wagner. But if you're listening and watching, Dave, maybe you could put on the comments section on the video if you recall, because I was a little far and I kind of caught the tail end of that. But that was an interesting goal, and he contributed to the win. So congratulations to Death on that. Of special personal satisfaction to me is the Dynamo squad was part of the second installment, the 825 game, against the formidable competitor and team, the Pizza Bats, led by Mike Scalzitti and Joe Lodowicz. And they basically came with a very, very well-rounded, solid roster. I think they had pretty much their main guys there, and of course Danielle, who was very effective, as well as Alex Marskinkowski. They had Sheets, they had Scalzitti, they had Giuseppe, they had Joe. I mean, the list goes on and on. That is such an incredible roster. I thought Dynamo came with a very good roster as well. The notables that we were missing last night were Joe Gleason, and we were also missing Justin Garlinski. However, we did have some of our other players, our full-time players and part-time players. What was really nice was to have Chelly back. So he was there last night. He was gifted with his new Dynamo jersey, number 7. And he's profiled today on the Illinois Ball Hockey Facebook page. So if you haven't had a chance, please go on there and like that and comment. And then we also had the return of Freddie Coletta, and that was huge for us. We shook up our lineup a little bit. Art and I and Freddie kind of worked through some line changes, and they allowed us to get a real strong start to the game. And I think that strong start translated to a very strong finish. However, credit to the Pizza Bats, they were opportunistic. They even had a 3-1 lead in the third period with less than, I think, 7 minutes to go. And she scored a nice power play goal in the opening period as well. After I think that we had a lot of the puck possession, but they scored some goals and they had a lead. And then we were very fortunate to have a big game from Blake Wareham, who scored 3 goals for us. And then with 1 minute to go, we had scored a goal from the center line. And I have to tell you, Roger was almost unbeatable. Sorry, Rocco was almost unbeatable yesterday. I mean, he was weathering a barrage of opportunities. But we ended up pulling off a win. We got the 4-3, I believe it's a 4-3 lead with less than around a minute to go. And then Scully capped it with an insurance goal on the open net. And then the Pizza Bats, as relentless as they are, didn't let us kind of get off easy. They scored another goal, but they only had 20 seconds to tie it up, and they just ran out of time. But they came on strong. I think it was a very entertaining game for all the fans out there. So congratulations to Blake for winning the Fedora yesterday. Sabatini presented that to him. And he's been great for us, so we're lucky to have him. And I thought Art played well. Art wanted to really get a win, as he's kind of not been in the win column as of late. So that was a great showing, all in all, yesterday for the league. Special public service announcement for those of you who watched the Neutral Zone. Not only do we want you to like, subscribe, and comment to the video, but please connect with us and try to get us going. We think the Wednesday League is becoming real special. It's got a great environment. People hang out at the bar till very late, socializing and spending time with one another. And it's really nice to see the camaraderie between the different teams and amongst the teams. So I just wanted to say, really pleased to be part of Wednesday. I don't know if that influences your decision, Stomps, to start playing on Wednesday, but it's definitely a good vibe. And I really want to just recognize all the GMs and the players and for Wednesday, of course, led by William Jacques as the commissioner. Any questions?
I'd like to know more about, you kind of glossed over it. There was a goal from center line?
Yeah.
Care to, who scored and how and what happened?
Well, okay, so Freddie got that to me, and I took a slap shot from the red line. It might even have been icing if I missed the net. And it curled on Rocco, and it went in low, I think low stick side. And that was the goal that I was talking about. But I didn't want to talk about myself, but that was how the game was determined, basically.
Wow.
But Rocco played out of his mind. I mean, out of his mind. And I think the Pizza Bats will tell you that. And they'll also tell you that Art played really well too. So yeah, I intentionally did that because I don't want to draw any attention to myself. I'd rather draw attention to the lineup, the guys who came out and played a great game, and just the entire effort that was put in. I thought Sam Espinoza and Miles as a line of a pair of wingers played really well also. And Chelly will continue his dangerous ways as well. So I just thought everybody just played as a unit. I'm just glad that the games are competitive. I'm not taking anything away from the Pizza Bats though. I mean, they had their onslaughts as well. And it's really hard to hold those guys back. They are an exceptional team. So this is not about Dynamo. This is about having a great competitive game. And one other thing to note about the Pizza Bats is I thought Joe Loda he played defense yesterday. And I mean, he amazes me how effective he is in both positions. He's a threat on D, he's a threat on O. He's got great vision and knows how to get in good spots, and he's got a great shot too. So they had some danger coming from the back end too.
Sounds good.
Yes. So any other questions about that?
No questions.
Do you want to share anything around the injury report?
I'm not, the only two people I was thinking about, or three, Larissa with her shin splints, Raj with his kind of his knee / quad, I think that area. That's really giving him trouble. He's had problems the last year or so. And then Brett Thunberg with I believe knee surgery may have been what he had. So I'm not, and I apologize if I'm not thinking of somebody. I'm not aware of anybody else that's hurt.
Yeah, well, there is nobody hurt, but there's a couple of absent people. I do think that Mike Houston from Woodridge had either hip surgery or something maybe similar to what Chico had went through. So Mike Houston is somebody hopefully we'll see back at Woodridge.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a while for sure.
And then Andre Jungerman as well. We haven't seen him in Woodridge for some time. We used to see Brian Gadutek at Woodridge. We don't see him there as often. It would be nice to have him come out as well. But he's probably got his hands full with the Palatine League. Also of note, Sabatini played defense yesterday for Dynamo too. I wanted to bring that up. Hey, as we close, I just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in to season 3, episode 7 of the Neutral Zone, where we covered a lot of very, very important topics, particularly what's going on with Elon Musk and the international news. And then we sprinkled in a little bit of hockey. I did want to say one last thing. There are 2 restaurants that I wanted to recommend that people consider trying. Now, for all the native Chicagoans like yourself, Stomps, you know this one, but I did want to mention it on the show because I haven't talked about it in a while. It's in Morton Grove on 8520 Fernald Avenue, and it's the Pequod's Deep Dish Pizza. I think you're a fan of that place, right?
Never had it. It's something I would like to try just based on the hype.
Team outing. Join the Wednesday. Let's go right after a Wednesday game.
Oh, brother.
Okay. The second one was one that I just discovered on Sunday afternoon as I was going to the airport. I had limited time, but I found a place called Bab Al Salam Restaurant on 5050 North Cumberland in Norwich, Illinois.
Wow. Well, that's my old, no pun intended, stomping grounds.
Yeah. And I think you would really like this food. If you liked Al Bawadi, you'll like this one.
Yeah, that's, you said 5050?
5050 North Cumberland.
That's like 2 minutes from where I grew up.
Is there, there's like that big church there that has.
Yes, Greek Orthodox.
Yeah, that's a beautiful constructed building there.
With the golden domes.
Yeah. I want to just say thank you to all the viewers for your support. I also want to just remind those who haven't done so to please, if you have been a guest on the show and have been gifted a Neutral Zone shirt, to either text Stomps or I with a selfie of you wearing the shirt. We're trying to put together something for the tournament with the help of Stevie J. So with that said, Stomps, any closing comments before we wrap up?
Nothing. Have a great evening. Like you said earlier, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff. We love it.
Awesome. Thank you, Stomps, for your commitment to getting on this show on a travel day. Down, seems so far away, distant.